suit. When he saw Meyer taking off his shoes outside the open door to the apartment, he took off his shoes as well. The doors are left open so visitors can come in without distracting the mourners, Meyer told him. No knocking or ringing of bells. He was washing his hands in a small basin of water resting on a chair to the right of the door. Carella followed suit. I'm not a religious person, Meyer said. I don't know why we wash our hands before going in. This was also very new to Carella. There were perhaps 24 people in the Soboleff living room. 5 of them were sitting on low benches. Meyer later explained that these were supplied by the funeral home. All of the mirrors in the house were covered with cloth, and a large candle was burning in one corner of the room. In accordance with Jewish custom, Soboleff had been buried at once, and the family had begun sitting Shiva as soon as they got home from the funeral. This was now Friday morning, the 18th day of June. The men in the family had not shaved. The women wore no makeup. There was a deep sense of loss in this house. Carella had been to Irish wakes, where the women keened, but where there was also laughter and much drinking. He'd been to Italian wakes, where the women shrieked and tore at their clothing. The prevailing mood here was silent grief. The apartment belonged to Max's younger brother and his wife. The brother's name was Sidney. The wife was Susan. Both of Max's parents were dead, but there was an elderly uncle present and also several cousins. The uncle spoke with a heavy accent, Russian or Middle European. It was difficult to tell which. He told the detective stories about when Max was still a little boy, how his parents had purchased for him a toy violin that Max took to at once. You should have seen him, a regular Yehudi Menuhin. The brother Sidney told him that his parents had immediately started Max taking lessons. On a real violin, never mind the toy, the uncle said. And within months he was playing complicated violin pieces. His teacher was astonished. He had such an aptitude, one of the cousins said. A natural, Sidney agreed. He was so sensitive, so feeling. The kindest person. Such a sweet little boy. When he played, your heart could melt. All his goodness came out in his playing. What a player, the uncle said. Sidney told him that no one was surprised when his brother was accepted at the Kleber school, or when Kuzman put him in his private class. Alexei Kuzman, he explained, the head of violin studies there. Max had a wonderful career ahead of him. But then, of course, one of the cousins said, he got drafted. The war, his uncle said, and clucked his tongue. Vietnam. 25th Infantry Division. 2nd Brigade. D Company. B Company it was. No, Sidney, it was D. I used to write to him. It was B. All right, already. Whatever it was, he came back blind. Dreadful, Susan said, and shook her head. It began at the hospital, his uncle said. The drug use. Before then, his brother said. It started over there, in Vietnam. But mostly it was the hospital. Medicinal, his brother said, nodding. The VA hospital. This was the first the detectives were hearing about drug use. They listened. And also, musicians, one of the cousins said. It's prevalent. But mostly the pain, the uncle said. Understandable, another cousin said. Besides, everybody smokes a little grass every now and then, a third cousin said. It should only be just a little grass, the uncle said, and wagged his head sympathetically. And yet, his brother said, right to the day he died, he was the sweetest, most loving person on earth. A wonderful human being. A mensch, the uncle agreed. Only one of the girls was really beautiful, but the other one was cute, too. He hadn't expected either of them to be prizes. You call an escort service? They're not about to send you a couple of movie stars. The woman on the phone yesterday had said, hey, you know what this is going to cost you, man? She sounded black. Price is no object, he'd said. Just so you know, it's $1,000 for each girl for the night. Comes to $2,000 plus a tip is customary. No problem, he'd said. Usually 20%. He thought this was high, but he said nothing. Which would come to $2,400 total. You could make it an even $25 you were feeling generous. Credit card okay, he'd asked. American Express, Visa, MasterCard, she said. What time do you want?